Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another Pokemon TCG video. In this one we're going to have kind of an interesting deck that's been around for most of the season so far, but it's still a pretty strong deck. It's kind of a weird deck that just always is kind of around, and it can be strong sometimes. Got some really good matchups, got some really bad matchups, but overall it's a pretty fun deck when you think about it. That's going to be this Tool Drop deck. So our attacker for this deck is this 70 hit point Trubbish. It has the attack Tool Drop, 20 damage for each Pokemon tool attached to Pokemon in play. So that's both sides, yours and your opponent's. So basically 20 times the number of tools in play. You might be thinking, what kind of a deck is this? 70 hit point Pokemon, how can that be your attacker when there's 180 hit point basics that can attack for like 2 energy? Well, let's see. Tool Drop, normally this would be limited to, 6 tools on your side. You can only attach 1 Pokemon tool to a Pokemon. But we have this awesome Sigilyph that seems to be invented just for this deck. It has the ability Toolbox that allows it to have up to 4 Pokemon tools attached to it. So now all of a sudden we can have tons of tools in play. And once we start getting like 9 or 10 tools in play, we can knock out everything just with that little Trubbish. So basically the idea is we get this out, we attach a bunch of tools, and then we Tool Drop for big one-hit knockouts over and over. Now, there's a lot of tricks that allow us to do this, so we're going to have to look at some stuff. The first thing we're going to look at is Masquerain. It has the nice ability Tool Reversal. It allows you to pick up a Pokemon tool attached to one of your Pokemon. So we can kind of rearrange tools and put them in the right spots because they do different things. So Masquerain, Sigilyph, and Trubbish, those are the 3 core components of this deck. Now, let's take a look at the Pokemon tools. These are really the important part of the deck. So, 4 EXP share is number 1. This is by far the most important tool you have in your entire deck. When your active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, you get to take a basic energy off the active and attach it to the Pokemon that has EXP share. So this allows us to keep energy in play. If you notice, Trubbish costs 2 energy to use Tool Drop. So we need to keep saving energy in play so that the next Trubbish can attack, and then the next Trubbish can attack, because they're probably going to get knocked out every turn. They only have 70 hit points. So with EXP share, we can keep a constant string of attackers going, and eventually just attack till we win. So EXP share, definitely the most important tool in the deck. We also have 4 Silver Mirror. This is really good against Team Plasma decks, because when you have Silver Mirror attached, you can't be affected by Team Plasma Pokemon. So we play 4 of these, which basically shuts down all the Team Plasma decks out there. Now, it doesn't mean you win automatically, but it's pretty darn good. If they don't have enough tool scrappers to discard these, you can just win with Trubbish and they can't hurt you. Pretty simple. So 4 Silver Mirror is pretty good as well. This is good against all sorts of Team Plasma Pokemon that are popular. Like not just the Team Plasma decks, but decks that use Genesect EX as well. That's going to be good. We have 3 Silver Bangle. The attacks do plus 30 damage to active Pokemon EX when you have Silver Bangle attached to your Pokemon. So this can help sometimes if you don't have enough tools in play. Say you have 7 tools in play, that's only 140 damage. But if you have Silver Bangle on your active, that's 140 plus 30, and now we can knock out a lot of EXs, like Yveltal EX, Keldeo EX, Genesect EX. So Silver Bangle helps us get a little extra damage. That's just another useful tool. 3 Float Stone. Your Pokemon has no retreat cost. This is another staple in this deck, since some of your Pokemon, well, every Pokemon has a retreat cost. Trubbish has a 2 retreat cost, so Float Stone is pretty good just to switch between your Pokemon sometimes. 2 Rescue Scarf is pretty cool. You do need a constant string of Trubbish attackers, so sometimes you just need to get one back into your hand after one gets knocked out. So Rescue Scarf is pretty good for that. If your Trubbish gets knocked out, you can return it back to your hand, and then you'll have another one for the next turn. So we got 2 Rescue Scarf, and then our A-Spec card for the deck is going to be Life Dew. If your Pokemon is knocked out your opponent takes one fewer prize card. So it's another Pokemon tool, but it's a really cool one, since if they don't have a tool scrapper to get rid of it, they do not take a prize card for Trubbish. That's pretty awesome. So in total, let's see, we have 17 Pokemon tools, because we really need our tools in play to use Tool Drop. So that's the idea of the deck. For our trainers, we just have 4 Professor Juniper, 4 N, we have 2 Chorus, and then 1 Elisa, which allows us to search for 3 Pokemon tools. Seems like it fits in the deck pretty well. We also have 4 Bicycle, because we're pretty much always able to play the cards in our hand, right? We can keep putting down tools, and then keep using Bicycle, keep drawing more cards. It's an item-based draw card drawn until you have 4, so it works very well in this kind of a deck. The only other things we have, 4 Level Ball just allows us to search for a Pokemon with 90 hit points or less. Since everything has 90 or less in this deck, we can just search for a Pokemon, basically. So 4 Level Ball, that's a pretty, that's a no-brainer right there. We do have 1 Super Rod. Trubbish is our only attacker, so we do need to shuffle them back in sometimes with Super Rod. It's a pretty important card in the deck. Between Super Rod and Rescue Scarf, you can get enough Trubbish to win a game. So that's pretty nice. We also have 2 Pokemon Catcher. Now, this did receive the errata. It's a coin flip now, but Catcher's still pretty darn good. And in this deck especially, it has a purpose, and that's going to be to target down those pesky Garbodor. Now, Garbodor has that Garbotoxin ability that shuts off your abilities, which means Toolbox shuts off. And it says if this Pokemon loses this ability, discard tools until only 1 tool remains. So say you have 4 tools on Sigilyph, and then they get a Garbodor in play, and they activate Garbotoxin, then you have to discard 3 of your tools. So just a regular route of playing Tool Scrapper probably wouldn't work. And so we try to Catcher and knock out the Garbodor instead. Seems like the way to go. And Catcher's a pretty versatile card as well. And then the last card we have is just 1 Escape Rope. Each player switches their active Pokemon. Sometimes you just need to switch out of the active spot, if you fall asleep or something like that. So that's just a nice card to have as well. For the energy, pretty simple, just 8 Psychic Energy. We might need more than this. 8 might be a little low. But, we'll work with it. You can always change this list, but the reason I'm actually covering this deck is because it is going to be obsolete by the time the next set comes out. There's a card in the next set that, I don't know why they made this card, but I think it's called Surprise Megaphone or something like that. It discards all of your opponent's Pokemon tools. So we have Tool Scrapper right now, which can discard 2 Pokemon tools. And that's fine, we can deal with, having like 2 or 4 tools discarded a game. Most people play about 2 Tool Scrapper. We can deal with that. But the Surprise Megaphone discards all of your tools. So if you have 10 in play, it just discards all 10. So this deck will effectively be gone once that set comes out. So we're going to give this one last hurrah and see if we can't give Trubbish one last good game before it basically dies out. So of course, I do have a game that I played with the deck. We'll go ahead and take a look at that right now. I'm kind of interested to see if Trubbish will show up at any regional championships in the next couple weekends, since it is pretty much the last opportunity to play it. But we're going to start off with the Sigilyph and also the Surskit on the bench. We look at a Suicune active and a Getsis. Getsis is pretty darn good against this kind of a deck. And we see a Master Ball. Wow, you don't see that A-Spec very often. And we see a Blastoise EX with a Water, and then my opponent will pass. So here I have a Float Stone. We'll just go ahead and put that in the Sigilyph. And then N, we got the Trubbish with the Psychic Energy. And then we can play some more tools down. Put down a Rescue Scarf, a Float Stone, and then a Bicycle. And alright, so we got Trubbish as well. And we can throw it on an EXP share. I have a Silver Bangle too, but I think I'll just hold on to that for now. We don't know if I'll need to attach that to the Trubbish to Tool Drop for a lot of damage. And my opponent says up against a legend, huh? This will be interesting. Alright, let's see. We have a Blastoise EX. Mega Blastoise could be kind of a pain. It does have a ton of hit points. And Hydro Bombard does 120 and then 30 to 2 benched Pokemon. So that could be an issue, especially with my bad hand here. And there we see a Tool Scrapper. Uh-oh. That discards both Float Stones. That's going to kind of slow me down a bit and really make it so I won't be able to attack this turn. I don't think I would have attacked anyway, since, I mean, it's very risky. The thing about this deck is, if you put up a Trubbish with all your energy and then you rely on the EXP share, the most devastating thing is when your opponent plays a Tool Scrapper, discards your EXP shares, and then takes a knockout, because then you don't get to keep any of the energy. So sometimes I like to just sit back and kind of wait for the right moment. Alright, so we got a Colress that turn. That was a very, very good top deck. Finally got out of the, situation there where we had nothing, and where we're going to get run over by a Blastoise EX soon. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Life Dew on the bench, and then some more tools. I'm going to leave the Rescue Scarf on the active Sigilif, just that tool, because they might get knocked out by my opponent's Blastoise EX, and then we're going to pass. I was fortunate to top deck a Juniper there, since my opponent didn't really do anything that turn. I didn't want to play that N, but after that Juniper, this looks pretty bad. I don't have much of anything. And we're going to have to pass again. I could escape Rope here, and then, hope he sends out Blastoise EX, but there's really no point to that. We'll save that for later. We see an N, and what? I like my other hand better, but he played a red card, and now my hand is garbage again. And that's not just a Trubbish joke. My hand is really bad. But we see a Blastoise EX, a second one, and boy, this is just not going well. Sometimes you're going to explode with this deck and turn 2, do like 200 damage, and then sometimes you're going to sit back and it's going to be a slower game. But you can play it either way. Sometimes a slower game isn't actually a bad thing for this deck, since you do get one-hit knockouts once everything is all set up and into play. But we see the Mega Blastoise. Uh-oh. I don't like the looks of that. But I did top deck in N, so we'll go ahead and shuffle in and draw 6. And once that thing comes out, we should be able to just tool drop it and knock it out. Even though it has 220 hit points, we can do 220 damage with Tool Drop. It's not out of the question. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to try to get a Float Stone here, and then try to retreat and attack with Trubbish this turn. Try to put some pressure on, or maybe try to get a catcher. That could work too, but the Bicycle's going to fail, and now, well, it didn't fail. I just didn't draw what I wanted. And now I'm going to pull some tools back, since it's a possibility Sigilif can get knocked out. And then we're just going to pass a turn. Now, this still isn't bad. I mean, even if Hydro Bombard happens, we still have all the energy in play. Oh, whoa. Crushing Hammer. What is that? Alright, we got a Heads. What? No, another Heads! Alright, well, we still have an energy in play. So, that's annoying, but we can deal with it. Alright, we still have EXP share. We'll be alright. But, are you kidding me? A third Crushing Hammer? 3? I just lost all of my energy. I had 3 energy in play, and I just lost all of them? What is that? Oh my goodness. I don't even know what's going on right now. Out of nowhere, just 3 Crushing Hammers and 3 Heads. What am I supposed to do about that? And I accidentally promoted the wrong Trubbish. What is that nonsense? Alright, so now we gotta try to figure out something to do here. I'm gonna move some tools around with Tool Reversal, put a Rescue Scarf on the active, and we're gonna play down all the tools and then play the Juniper here. We need to get energy back in play. We can Bicycle for 1. Got a Level Ball, that's good. We can search for another Trubbish. Gosh, 3 Crushing Hammers, that's unbelievable. Alright, well, we're going to try to make the best of it still. We'll attach to the new Trubbish, and then just, I guess just pass a turn. That's really all we can do right here. Nope, don't really need to move any tools either. I think this is kind of fine. You know, we got the Rescue Scarf on the active Trubbish, the Life Dew on the bench one. He does have that Swellow that has Drive Off, which forces me to switch my active Pokemon. So I'm going to put 2 tools on that makes it, you know, kind of bad for him either way. We see the 4th Crushing Hammer. Oh, thank goodness that one was tails. I think I lose if that one's heads. There's no way to recover from that. And we do see the Drive Off, so I'm just going to promote the Trubbish with the Life Dew. And then we see a second Drive Off, so I'm just going to put back the Trubbish with the Rescue Scarf. That's fine with me. I'll just get it back into my hands, so that's perfectly fine. And let's see what happens here. We're going to see a Hydro Bombard. We see a Juniper for a new 7 cards. Hydro Bombard is pretty darn powerful once it gets going, but I think we can still deal with it. It's going to be tough. We really can't afford to miss a beat from here on out, right? The attack's doing so much damage and is doing it everywhere that we're gonna lose pretty quickly if we don't just knock that thing out, get rid of it. Oh my goodness, a second Tool Scrapper. So we've seen 2 Tool Scrapper and 4 Crushing Hammers, 3 of them removing all of my energy in play. This is just not going well. This is about as bad as it can go for you when you're playing this deck. So we got a Psychic on the active. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Surskit because I'm going to Juniper away all of my cards here. Seems like the right thing to do. We can put a Silver Mirror down somewhere just so we have another tool in play. And then Juniper. Ooh, we have 8 cards left. Let's see, I have not played my Super Rod yet, though, so that's fine. We'll just Juniper and draw 7 cards, and then we can Super Rod in. We can Super Rod Trubbish, Psychic, and then a second Trubbish, I suppose. My opponent has to take 4 prizes still, so we could still get 4 Trubbish. I'm going to go ahead and take back, or we're going to switch some tools around. I need to get an EXP share on the benched Trubbish, since my active one could get knocked out. I think we can bench another Sigilif here, maybe, just get some more tools down. Might not be bad. So yeah, we'll bench another one. Mainly because of Drive Off. I don't want to promote a Sigilif with the 4 tools, and I don't want to promote a Trubbish, but we're going to tool drop and one-hit knockout a Mega Blastoise EX. My goodness, that attack is powerful. We have, let's see, 4, 7, 9, 10, 11 tools in play. My opponent had, 2 or 3 tools as well. So, that was a mighty, mighty tool drop. Took down the Mega Blastoise EX. And you can see why this deck can be powerful if given time to set everything up. It's a non-EX attacker that does a bazillion damage, and that's pretty much always going to be good. So we have EXP share activating. I'm actually I'm going to put the energy on Masquerain because it does have an attack. Bug Bite does 60, and there could be a weird situation where I have to use Bug Bite. With the Silver Bangle, can actually knock out Blastoise EX because it's weak to grass. I used to do this when I played this deck against Blastoise decks sometimes. You could use Bug Bite with the Silver Bangle against Keldeo EX, and it's a knockout, so kind of cool. Alright, so we got the EXP share down on the new Trubbish, we got an energy on the active, and we're going to go for the tool drop for 260 damage. Now, I have a couple energy prizes. This is starting to worry me. There's 2 in my discard, 3 on my field, and only 1 left in my deck. So, there's 2 energy prize, and I actually could run out of energy if something bad happened. You know, like, honestly, a 3rd Tool Scrapper here would definitely break my back if it's also knocking out the active Trubbish. Because I would not have enough energy to attack anymore, and I would lose. So, boy, this is it's going to be close. Then again, I did have 3 of them removed by Crushing Hammer, so I guess it's not too big of a deal. I mean, if it happens, if I lose to that, then, you know, hats off to you. It's not every day you get all of your energy removed by crushing hammers in one turn. We see a switch into the Blastoise EX. A Muscle Band here would be a knockout with Rapid Spin, but nope, just 30 damage with Rapid Spin. And that's a big deal, because Trubbish is going to survive, and oh baby, we got 2 Pokemon catcher here. We're ready to bring that Blastoise back out, and we can knock that thing out and pretty much seal up this game, I think. We only have 1 card left, but we're not going to deck out, I don't think. I'm going to retreat for Trubbish. Catcher. Nope. Catcher. No. Man, this is one of those games where it's like anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Alright, there's a tool drop for 240, and oh no, my last 2 prizes are the 2 energy! So if, again, a tool scrapper here would win the game for my opponent pretty much. That's pretty annoying. Alright, so we just gotta hope there's no 3rd tool scrapper. That's the card that'll really put the hurting on me. And let's see, what will my opponent do here? There's a Float Stone on the Keldeo and an N. Well, now I'm really not going to deck out. What can I do here? Well, what can my opponent do here? If he Rapid Spins and knocks out Trubbish, I get to activate EXP Share again, and we just tool drop. So that's fine. My opponent's using Swellow's Drive Off here. I'm just going to promote the Sigilyph with 2 tools on it. I don't really think that matters. Drive Off again. You know, my opponent can only really Rapid Spin, so it honestly doesn't matter what I send out. I'm just going to send out Masquerain, I guess. Can't really knock that out. I can just retreat it with Float Stone. Not a big deal. And there is the Rapid Spin. Both of us have to switch. And he sends out Keldeo EX. So I guess that's it. We're just going to tool drop for 240, and that will be the game. And yes, the last 2 prizes were Psychic Energy. So this is Tool Drop. It's a fun deck. It's actually a pretty inexpensive deck too, but I wouldn't recommend building it if you're just starting off, because the deck is pretty much going to die in about a month with that Surprise Megaphone thing. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I will see you guys next time.